So I was like walking around with my anointing oil on the doors, praying. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, come here, let me put a cross on your head, you know? What's up, everybody? It's your girl KP, and welcome back to KP on the Mic podcast. I am here with my best friend, my partner in crime, my partner in business, Brian Prieto, the extraordinary Brian Prieto.
Hi there.
Yes. This is my business partner in lit, my best friend in the whole wide world, one of them, my daughter's godfather. People think that we're married. We're absolutely not. We've never dated, so ladies, shoot your shot because he's single and on the market. But we're going to be talking today about partnership, entrepreneurship, sacrifice, dedication, hard work, faith, how that played a huge role in where we are today.
Yeah.
And we'll start by saying and asking a little bit about Brian. Who is Brian to the core? Like, where did you come from? Let the people know who you are.
Well, I was born and raised in Tampa, and went to private school, Tampa Catholic, went to college, graduated at USF.
Did you play sports?
No, I didn't play any college sports besides little intramural stuff. So that was about it.
Okay.
Yeah. But obviously, I graduated and from USF, and my father was an attorney, and he obviously wanted me to go to law school, but I kind of went the other way in law. And I kind of went the other way where I needed an attorney.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. We all make mistakes. It's just how you clean up after that.
Yeah. So obviously I went to another college. It wasn't like the other one, but
it's a little vacation.
Just went on a little vacation for a few years, and when I got back, my father had opened up a cigar store called Antonio's Cigar Company, or it was called actually Cigars by Antonio was the actual store. But when I got back, we had an opportunity to move on the inside of Channel Side, and then that's when Lit started.
Okay.
So.
And Lit, for those of you that don't know, was like, I would like to say like Cheers, like your Tampa Cheers. It was 800 square feet.
Correct.
It had a little L couch in the corner and probably at best 10 chairs around the bar, you would say, right?
Yeah.
And I would say it probably was about 5 years into y'all being open when I came there.
Yeah.
I worked at Hooters, of course, right next door. Open Hooters, launched their catering, launched their liquor. And Brian asked me if I would like to work there. And I was like, no, I would not. I like to go there when I'm done with my shift at Hooters. And that's pretty much it. And then I finally gave it a little thought because I saw the bartenders he had. No offense or anything, but they weren't KP. Okay. So I went there and I had to do a little convincing because I got to the bar and I worked a couple shifts and I was like, yeah, this shit is not hitting. It was literally like a man cave.
And that's what I was trying to steer away from before, because my father really had it as a man cave. And I was just like, that's not going to work. So obviously I tried to create Lit, which I changed the name from Antonio Cigar Company to Lit. And we got a liquor license. We made some nice lighting. I wanted it to be a spot where girls would go to, but obviously I needed a woman's touch. And that's where Courtney came in.
Yeah. So we brought in hookahs, and I had a friend named Hazem that owned a hookah bar. And I was like, oh, please, let's bring in hookahs because there's no females in here and I'm dying.
Right.
Like, we brought in the hookahs and he was like, no, I'm not going to do this. This is going to take too much work. I'm not going to do this. This is where I knew right here what type of partnership we were going to have because I was going to have to do a little bit more knocking on the head. And I was like, trust me, just trust me. It was like 2015, 16-ish when hookahs just started popping, in the club scene. So I was like, let's just do it. I'll get the guys to come in and make it. Let's just see. We'll get $10 off of every hookah. And we were charging $30 a hookah, so they were taking 20, we were taking 10. And then he seen how much money they made. And he was like, so how do you do this? Like, what do they got to do? Can the girls do this? And I'm like, yeah, we can do this. Just let's order some. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to order 30. And I'm like, 30? We can't fit 30 people in here. What are we going to do with 30 hookahs? When I tell you, it took us to a whole nother level. It was females every weekend,
Right.
athletes every weekend. I mean, you got there early. You were there, and we put a little DJ in the corner and a little fold-out table no bigger than this.
Right.
And you would have thought we were...
Yeah, I mean, we basically created a vibe, and we became like the first hybrid where we were cigars, liquor, and hookahs. You are not going to find that anywhere. You're not going to find all three together. And we created that. I was obviously, you can't ever be scared of change if you want to be successful. And at the time, I was in my comfort zone. And when she was trying to bring out the hookahs, I was just like, nah, it's just, to me, it looked complicated, but it was so simple. And what I advise is don't ever be scared of change, because change is going to change your life for the better.
Right.
So.
And Channelside was popping. We had the sidewalk popping.
Mm-hmm.
We had everything. And then, boom. No, I would say it was before 2017 because we closed in 2017.
Actually, it was 2017 when, actually it was 2016, right? New Year's Eve, when we decided that we were going to start throwing pool parties.
Right.
Okay. And
then we had our contract with Marriott and
Right.
Aloft. So if y'all have been around in Tampa, one thing about Lit and one thing about KP and Brian, we going to have the sexiest, flyest people at your party, and that's hands down.
Yeah.
Like, from pool parties to girls wearing heels. That's why when they want to come into the club and they're like, oh, I never heard. Well, honey, I had these girls walking around in bathing suits and high heels. So you getting in this club without them, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we did our pool parties,
And-
capped out at 500 people.
Right.
That's when we realized,
We
I
had
would
to
say,
follow
yeah,
that. We
the
had to-
magnitude
we
of
have-
people
right.
that supported us.
Yeah, we didn't realize it at the time that, how many people followed us because we were so small. And now all of a sudden we were in a location where everybody could come. And that's when we realized that we got a lot of people following us.
Yeah. And I mean, we had athletes flying in from all over. We had females that we had never seen. Like, wow, where'd she come from, And it was great. It was great. And then 2017, December 31st.
Yes, it was 2017 is when they decided Channelside decided not to renew our lease. And that's when, it was like right before Thanksgiving, they're telling us, we got to get out of there. And I'm just like, I'm not about to tell my girls that they don't have a job right before the holidays.
Yeah.
So I talked to my brother, what do we do? And he goes, well, you got two options. You can just shut down and take your losses, because we were already dying because they already had tried to basically shut us down by closing the DJs and taking the hookahs out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we used to make rent in one night. We couldn't even make it in a month. So all of a sudden then we got, my brother said, you either just take your losses or we just fight it and I can stretch it out to the end of the year. And so I was like, well, I guess we're going to fight it, because I'm not telling my girls that they don't have a job now.
Right.
And we wrote this out to the end of the year. And basically at the end of the year, Channelside said on January 1st, 2018, we had to be out of there.
And I remember, I probably get emotional. I remember it was Chris, you and I, and we were in there packing everything up.
Uh-huh.
And it was just us three, and we were literally like, what do we do now? Now we are unemployed.
Right.
In the hospitality industry, hospitality is kind of like I would say like a drug game, kind of like it's a fast money type of money. You spend it, you get it right back. You spend it, you get it right back. And that's the mindset that you have the entire time that you're in it. And here I am 19, and now I'm, in my 30s.
Right.
So I'm like, dang, I got a little savings, but I ain't got enough. And I really was not prepared for what was next.
Yeah, I don't think any of us were prepared for what was next.
Yeah, we
Okay.
really thought that Lit was going to open back up in about 6 months. That's what we were being
Yeah.
told by
Yeah,
contractors.
6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
6 to 8 months. We had to find a location. That part right there was a pain because everybody, they told us yes, and then when it came time to sign the contract, at the last minute they decided no because of the smoke. They were concerned about the smoke interfering with the other tenants
Yeah.
or the people that lived in the condos.
Yeah.
And that was an issue. And then one day I just stumbled upon this, and to me, location was everything. It was either somewhere around here or International Mall,
Mm-hmm.
and there was nothing around International Mall. And I one day I just ran into this building, which was just I don't even know how we even missed it, and it was just there. It was just a broken down building that was just nothing, and we just decided to take it. I mean, we saw a vision, and we saw that this block could be hot. Franklin Manor was open right next to us. They were doing well. I figured, how could we not do well? We'll feed off of each other, and we'll all eat. And basically, we got the contract. Well, we got everything going, but boy, was there headaches. Okay, there was a lot of bumps in the road before we even got to where we're at right now.
I think people kind of know that if you know us, you know that it took 3 years to get Lit going. And I'm a firm believer in God's timing is everything.
Right. Yes.
It took a lot, and I would like to elaborate a little bit on the partnership aspect of what we kind of learned in this process. Because remember, I was a bar manager. I was not a partner at the old Lit.
Right.
So now I'm going into this position because the last thing I said to him before we closed the doors was, if you go bigger, I want to be a partner. And he shook my hand and he said, okay.
Yeah.
And he was a man of his word. And I knew that when it was my time to come in here and be a partner, it was time to deliver and make sure that the same amount of money and what I showed him and that trust he had in me before was the same thing I was going to deliver the next time around, but on a bigger scale. I've always had a bigger vision for Lit, just got hit with it all at once now.
It was
Yeah.
I mean, we knew this was going to be bigger than the last Lit, but we had no idea the magnitude of it when it hit us. I mean, when it hit us strong.
I don't think we realized we created a club until after we were open. That bro, we got a nightclub. I feel like I'm in power. But back to the trials and tribulations that we experienced. I again was living off of a small amount of savings. It was very eye-opening experience for me to recognize my strength in that time and to really connect with my faith. And that is when I started to go to church, which was about 6 weeks after we closed, February 18th, 2018. And then on April 16th, I got a 6-figure job with Ideal Image. Now, for those of you that don't know, when I started my journey with faith, I got that from my grandfather, and going through years of depression and things like that, I knew I needed something. I needed to get something to have hope because I just had no idea what to do anymore. And then I tithed. So I tithed $5 because I wasn't making no money. I only had a little bit of money. Then I tithed $10. Then I tithed $20, then $50. And then I was like, I'm going to just do $100 because, what do I got to lose? Because my pastor was telling me, Pastor Joe Love First Christian Center, shout out. He was telling me God loves a generous giver. And if you give, he'll give it back to you tenfold. So here I was making no dollars, and I'm still tithing what I can. And now I'm making $120,000 a year. And when I got that job, I told them, though, in that training room, I'm only going to be here for two years, though. And they said, why would you only be here 2 years? I said, I'm going to be the best salesperson you ever met in your life. You're not going to be able to figure out what I'm doing. I'm going to take this to a whole different level, but I'm only here for 2 years. God is telling me 2 years, and I'm out in 2 years. So I actually worked at Ideal Image from April 16th, 2018 till May 2020 was actually my last full month there because I caught COVID in June and I didn't really go back to work at all after that. So yeah, it was almost 2 years to the day, and I was content with that. And I got my real estate license, did a little here and there, kind of figured out what I wanted to do. But I just had this feeling like inside that it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. We had been shot down so many times. I mean, I'm here making $120,000 a year, flying, training people now because they couldn't figure out what I did for sales. 24 months I'm there, 20 out of the 24 when I was in sales, I was number one. So I watched my best friend go through a different time. I watched him go through severe depression, anxiety.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I didn't, when I took on this, if it would have been up to my father was just, we're just going to open up another small lit and, and that'll be it. I was like, no, we're, I'm not getting
What
any younger.
made you feel like the vision is so big I can't let it
The
go?
pool parties, and how all our customers, how they would just tell me what a good time they had, how they enjoy it, and the following, and just just everybody, like the support that we were getting from the community. I just knew that if we go big, we're going to do well. But I also believed that we had to be open within a year, basically, because I felt if we were open 2 or 3 years, we're going to lose everybody.
Right.
Okay. And, obviously everyone says God has a reason for, timing is everything. You're not open for a reason. I couldn't see that reason at that time until now. Who could have predicted COVID?
Right.
Nobody could have predicted COVID from coming. If we would have opened up in 2018, we would have probably gone under.
Right.
And we would have lost everything that we worked so hard for. And being a felon, it's, basically, failure was not an option.
Right.
We had to succeed.
Right.
We had to succeed. And what's so crazy is that when I was in prison in 2004, the thought of opening up a club was just a thought. Little did I know that thought was a seed that was planted, because I was thinking, what's going to be the niche to keep us afloat? What's going to be the niche to, nightclubs come and go? What's going to be our niche? Little did I know that this whole time that little cigar store was going to become the niche of cigars, hookahs, and liquor. And that would be the niche for us to have the longevity that we have right now, because we opened up the old lit in 2008 and it's 2022 now. And you would have thought we never left.
Right.
The support that we got from the community, that when we opened up, it was amazing.
Yeah. And we went through our own hardships in partnership and trying to figure this out. Like, especially during that time, I would say, like, it was a lot of, like, I felt like I couldn't talk to him. He was really angry. He was yelling all the time. And, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And I don't think I realized at that moment until I was literally like crying on the phone that day and saying, like, I need you to write your prayers down. Yeah. Like, I need you to write this vision down. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain. I need you to do this. And I don't think that, like, people look at us and they think that we're married. They think that we dated. But I think that we feed so much off of each other's energy that, like, I knew in order for this to work, we had to be equally yoked as if we were in a relationship. Because people look at, oh, well, you only need to be equally yoked in a relationship. No, you need to be equally yoked in any type of ship. A friendship, a partnership, a relationship. You need to have a respect for each other. And I think that's why we work so well too, because we respect each other's roles in the company. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But it was writing our prayers down, getting equally yoked, and then coming in here during that time and looking at dirt and constantly being like, bro, what is going on? It was a lot of frustration. But I remember in October when I was like gonna go on this other show, which will remain nameless. And I was like, oh, I might be shooting for this show. We need you to be open. And my project manager was saying, nope, it's not happening. Then we said November, at least for our anniversary. Nope. Then Brian's like, New Year's. Nope. And we're like, all right, what about Gasparilla? And we're like, nope. And I walked in here one day, and he can tell you, I went up to him, I said, let me tell you something. God told me we opening for Super Bowl. And he said, I don't know about that one. That one might be a long shot. I said, I don't think you heard what I said.
Well, that was it. I was in agreement to get that open.
Yeah.
That was the contractors and stuff saying
Yeah,
it was going to be a long
saying
shot
no,
because
be a long shot.
I was
Yeah.
persistent. We have to open up for Super Bowl.
And I walked up to Mark and I said, no, I don't think you heard me.
Yeah.
I said we are opening on Super Bowl weekend, and God told me. So we have about 11 days. Pull your britches up because it's time to go to work, boys. And he just laughed, and we opened Super Bowl weekend.
Yep. We were sold out and everything, and we didn't have nothing in here. At 10 o'clock, I remember it was actual Thursday, when we got the liquor license.
Mm-hmm.
We got the permit for the liquor license to go up to start up. And on Friday, when the liquor was coming in, everything was coming in. Chairs, sectionals, TVs, everything. And at 10 o'clock, the final stuff was coming in. The lit logo, the DJ booth, the host stand, all that stuff was coming up. And at 11 o'clock, we opened the doors.
And we've been lit ever since.
Yes.
Okay? But no, it's been great. And I think when you have a partnership and you guys are entrepreneurs, I think it's extremely important to look at your vision first.
Right.
Make sure you share the same vision. Then you start with your vision up top, mm-hmm. and you work your way down, and you start to really figure out what's important, what's not, how to communicate. Communication is key.
It's huge. It's huge.
And it took us trying to learn how to communicate with each other because I'm a Libra, he's an Aries, and he gets a little overpowering with his voice, and I don't like to listen. So it doesn't. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm hanging up the phone because I don't want this to go left. And I love you, but I'm going to talk to you later. And he'll be like, don't you hang up on me. And then he'll call me back and be like, did you just hang up on me? I'm like, yes, I told you. But then he'll be like, Courtney. Whenever he says Courtney, I know I'm like, oh God, here we go. But I would say communication is something that we learn.
Yeah.
The respect is something that we've learned.
Yeah, if we would have opened up in 6 months, I don't think we would have been prepared. The experience that everything that we went through to get to where we're at has changed me, and I know it's changed you. You know, it's growth. You know, and I learned things that you're always going to keep on learning. You never say you're going to know it all, and I learned things now that I needed that experience to be where I'm at right now and to appreciate everything that we worked so hard for. Because if we would have gotten it 6 months, I don't know if we'd appreciate it as much. Right. And this was a growing experience, and just the experience alone, man, was very stressful. When we went through a lot of phases in life, I learned about faith. I learned about positive energy and faith, and how it's all basically the same. Mm-hmm. It's all the same. And once you understand how to use it, it works. And by me writing the prayers down, I remember to this day, it was 2019, and I had done a vision board. And I had everything on the vision board. I was like, I want a car. I want this big ass mansion. I want this dog over here. I want this, And then I was like, none of this is coming true. I was like, ain't none of this coming true. So then after I got a better understanding of how everything works in faith, and I started writing my prayers down, I went to that same board and I took off all the crap, and I just put what was a priority, which was opening up Lit, making sure we had enough money to create Lit, to build it out, and provide me with a team that will see the same vision, and we can be successful. Once I did that and started writing my prayers down, I don't know what happened in 2020, but as soon as 2020 hit, everything started to change. We got rid of the old contractor. We got a new contractor. Everything started moving in motion. and everything just started working out.
So would you
for the
say
best.
faith moves mountains?
Oh yeah, I'm a strong believer in faith now. I mean, I don't doubt anything. I'm a strong believer in that, and positive vibes, and surrounding yourself with people with that same energy, because people with the negative energy will drain you. You'll be surprised on how many people actually want you to not
Fail.
succeed. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
want you to fail. And the messed
I
up
used
thing
to get
about
like
it,
scared to even post like
yeah.
updates about Lit because
Oh, I got done. I stopped doing it because
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna think I was full of crap. You know? I
not
was
only
like,
that, I just felt like people were like wishing on the downfall. Like
Exactly.
I remember being at Davidoff and somebody being like, "Oh yeah, she's gonna open up Lit. She's one of the owners," and the guy saying, "That place." That place has been gonna come open for years. That place is never opening. And I looked at him. I said, "I don't know who you think you're talking to or who you think you're talking about, but it ain't my Lit."
Yeah.
And I kid you not, he'll remain nameless too. But he was sitting right over there in that section and was in here about a couple months ago. And I said, "Oh, you thought we weren't going to open. Well, look at you now." You know, it sometimes feels good to like prove people wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was like that was one of the reasons that motivated me the most, because there was so many people saying that this was such a bad choice. Parking wasn't good. Don't do this. Don't do that.
We stopped
The
going
location,
out.
I had to stop.
We stopped
talking
going
to people
out.
and stop. I just completely stopped going out.
We stopped because
tired
they
of
got
hearing
to where like, well, when's Lit gonna open?
Right.
When's Lit? And
Yeah.
it's like every time we got a day, it didn't happen.
You're right.
But
So it looked like we were full of crap, and we weren't. It was just they don't understand what it takes to create something this big. You know what I'm saying? This magnitude. I mean, we didn't even know we were creating this. To be honest with you, we had no idea that this was going to be on a level that it is right now and give us the platform that we have now. And it's crazy how it just all worked out. Just with everything. I mean, just with how everything worked out here with God and everything. So,
I mean, it was great. I love everything about what we are. I think what brings value to what we do at Lit is that we both come from very cultural families. You being Italian and Cuban, me being Cape Verdean. We are very big on entertaining. We're very big on making people feel like they're family. So we are the club where you're going to be able to come and take a shot with the owners, or, you know, we are going to come check on your tables. We are going to come shake your hands, because we know we couldn't do any of this without the support of the city, not just our own city. I mean, there are tons of people coming from out of town that have heard about Lit. So it's very important for us to make sure that even those people that are coming out of town to celebrate their birthdays, they're leaving their hometowns where they have clubs to come here where they don't know anybody to celebrate their birthdays here with us. And that's magnificent. And I think when we go and we engage with those people and we're saying, "How was your birthday? How is everything?" And they're like, "Oh my God, it's great. Who are you?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm the owner." And they're like, "Wait, what?" Like, they're so not even used to being in the presence of the owners.
And you know where we kind of learned this from? Because I didn't realize that prior to, you know, her working for me and stuff like that, that she also worked at Malio's.
Yes.
I grew up with the Avaronis, Rico, and you know, his brother Carmen, and I know the family, you know, and they're just very personal people. And I remember going to Avaroni's Steakhouse, and the father would just come up to me and shake my hand. I mean, he'd make me feel so special. I was like, you know, I'd be out on a date, and like he'd make me look like a god or something, you know, and that made me feel good, and it made me feel good to say, "Hey, I know the owner." You know, and that whole family, the Avaronis, they have had that. They've done that in every one of their restaurants. Malio's, Avaronis,
Bernini's,
you know,
Carmine's.
Right.
I go to Carmine's every week.
Right, and they just make you feel special.
Yeah.
And
it was important for us to do that.
Right, and you know, it's like I don't look at anyone as better than the other person. You know, it's just like, I mean, you can be from the custodian to a celebrity. I treat you all the same.
Right, we're shaking,
you know,
everybody.
as long as you give
I'm
me
giving
respect,
everybody a
right?
hug.
You know, I give you the same respect you give me. You know, if you're disrespectful, I'm just not going to entertain it. You know, but you know, I want to respect. I give everyone the same respect, and I go up to everybody, shake everyone's hand at the old Lit. I used to shake everyone's hand before I even clocked in, you know?
Yeah.
So it was just, it's fun. I enjoy this. I love this work. And I had no idea that this is something that I was going to enjoy when I got out of prison. I mean, this is the last thing that I was, I just didn't know what to do. And
so what would you tell other men or women that have been in your position in the past, as far as like in trouble before? What would you tell them? Like, how do you overcome everybody coming at you?
I mean, the bottom line is, you have to find something that you are passionate about. Okay, that is the first thing. Either find something you're passionate about or try to get into something that makes a lot of money. Okay, I got into this hospitality thing because it was kind of thrown into my lap. I had the opportunity to take it. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about hospitality. I was like, how different can this be from where I dealing drugs, basically? Right. I said, it's supply and demand. So I said, I got this. You know what I'm saying? I had no clue what the heck I was doing. Okay.
Was it what you expected?
To be honest with you, I remember when we hired everybody, I don't think any of us knew what we were doing, okay? Half my girls weren't even bartenders, you know? It's just like we were just kind of winging it.
Yeah, and that's when I got there and I was like, and I'm coming from where I'm a head trainer, training managers at Hooters, and I'm like, what in the hell kind of sideshow bull crap is this? Like, they're not even counting how much liquor they're pouring in the cup. Like, what's going on? I think we kind of feed off of each other. What would you say would be good advice for those people that are at the drawing table and they've got a partner and they're trying to figure out their concept of what it is that they truly passionately believe in? What would you advise them to do?
I mean, I think the key to a successful business is obviously a good partnership. Okay, with that, you and your partner, I believe, have to see the same vision. Okay, and with that vision right there, y'all figure, if y'all already see the vision on what y'all want, now it's just creating it. Normally you have partners because they have a purpose. Either they're more knowledgeable in something that you're not, maybe they're an investor. Who knows what their position is in the partnership, but you have to trust and respect your partner in making the competent decisions that need to be made in their position. And when y'all have to make a decision together for the entire business, I believe that y'all become one and y'all move as one. And if you don't agree on something, then basically you just
leave it to the table,
you put it to the side
back
until you come up with a solution.
So would you recommend that people that have partnerships find partners where one is an asset in one field and one is an asset in another? Because don't you feel like if both felt like they brought the same thing to the table,
right?
Well, something would be lacking somewhere.
Exactly. And it's like with you and I. I mean, we never planned this. You know what I'm saying? We never planned it. It just happened. We saw a vision, and I believe that a mix of your talent, your vibe, my vibe too, a combination of the two, because obviously our age is different. You know what I'm saying? You're a lot younger.
He old, child. He old.
So it's like I bring a little bit more of
that. You just celebrated a birthday. Do you want to talk about the number that you wouldn't let me get in here?
Hey, I mean, I'm in the 40 club, okay? In the 40 club. So.
And I'm in the 30s.
Yes. So, I mean, a combination of both. With the cigars, we bring in a little bit more people more my age. Mm-hmm. And then with the nightclub vibe and the hookahs, a little bit more people her age. We try to cater to a more mature crowd, not so much a college crowd, because I wanted this location for people like my age to hang out. And a little bit.
And I knew there wasn't that many people his age hanging out. So we was gonna need my friends.
Yeah. So.
But no, we definitely we got something here.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go other places. What we have in store for everybody is even bigger.
Right.
We're back at the drawing board. Drawing more visions.
Right.
So we've been nothing but blessed when it comes to this.
Absolutely.
I would tell everybody, like, when you decide what it is that you want to do, decide your role in that business, because that is where you will stay. I do not do any of the ordering or anything like that. My job is to make sure my girls get it off the shelf.
Right.
So we understand that when it comes to the staff and the girls, having a woman control that
Right.
has been game changing because the level of respect is different.
Right.
It kind of like works good. He doesn't
Yeah.
like to step over the, he's like, you
Right.
know,
If we have any kind of disagreement, we never do it in front of
never
the
do
staff.
it in front of them.
Okay, it has to be something behind closed doors, because I feel like if we argue in front of the staff,
We
it
lose
looks like
respect.
you're right, and I feel like it looks like we don't know what we're doing,
Right.
and that they're like, they don't know who's in power. It just I don't like that. It's just
Oh, I don't even think we really argue that much.
No.
I think like when we argue, it's I called him early in the morning and woke him up, and he's not really trying to hear what I gotta say, because I'm up at 6 o'clock every day. But other than that, I don't feel like we argue. I feel like we kind of see the same thing for this.
Yeah,
So
we see the same vision.
if
and
we
know our
don't think
roles.
it's a good idea, we're
Right.
just like, no. I mean, we had someone that wanted to come in, remain nameless. They ended up being next door
right,
that wanted to come in and, oh, I have ideas. I want to do this. I want to do that. And, we sat there, and at that time, remember, we
Yeah.
didn't know what we were doing. We hadn't even, barely opened yet. And we were just like, maybe we need him,
Mhm.
because he's got a lot of money. Maybe we need it. And then he was like, fire everybody, do all this, do all that. And just the type of people that we were like, wait, fire everybody. Like, these girls were putting hookahs together
right,
for us the night of. These girls were stocking. Like, they worked 16 hours a day during those times. Like, what do you mean fire them? We
Yeah.
can't fire them. Like,
exactly.
what kind of people would we be? And they're like, I told them the day that we opened, when we prayed right there next to the bar, trust me because I'm trusting God.
Right.
And I knew right then and there I couldn't do that. I couldn't listen to this person. So, we kind of kept our comments to ourselves, listened to what he had to say, and the very next day, I will never forget, it was 10 a.m. And I called him, and it took me a while to call because, I was like, I knew how much his father had invested in us.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like, I promised this man that I would get his money back. So maybe I should just be quiet and not say anything. But I just couldn't. I couldn't be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I called him. It was 10:08 a.m. And I said, Brian, I have to talk to you about something. And he said, what is it? And I said, I'm having a whole lot of conviction about this individual coming in and us just paying this person $1.7 million to do what? Like, why would we pay him? He's like, Courtney, I just got off the phone with my father, and we feel the same exact way. And that's when I knew right there, like, we're good, because we can have these conversations.
Exactly. I mean, we got this far, and then all of a sudden we were just about to give it all away.
Yeah.
Because
And we see how that worked out.
and all because of the fact that
We got scared.
We got a little scared. I mean, and you know
we
what?
let fear take over
Right.
our faith. And our faith is
Exactly.
what got us here this long.
Exactly.
And got us where we are now.
Right.
And that was a moment of test.
Right.
And I feel like that was a moment of distraction for us.
Yep.
That was a moment of the devil coming in and saying, can I throw a little wrench in what you guys are about to do? And we didn't let it happen. We continued on with our faith, and now we have what we have. We're super big because the community believed in us so much in giving back. We've done more than 15 philanthropy acts
Right.
in the time that we've been open. We are about to do a kickoff to summer bash for the kids. We're about to do, youth camps for basketball. We supply jerseys. We do back to school events. We provide survivors of breast cancer with funding for their bills for the rest of the year from October to December. So they don't have to worry going into Christmas about anything. We've done a lot for foster kids. We do poverty for periods. So if you're not familiar and you guys want to donate, we would highly recommend donating to foster kids. They are not government funded. So a lot of what they get is simply by people giving them. And the young teenage girls in the foster care system often when they're going through their menstrual periods have to use socks or don't go to school because they don't have the proper hygiene products. We actually did boxes and boxes of U-Haul, and sent it to foster homes and things like that of tampons and pads. I think for us, it was the community really taught us, and the city of Tampa really taught us how to stick together. So that's what's very important for us, not just in a club, but also just in who we are as owners and just people in the community.
Right. I mean, we wouldn't be here if the community wasn't here to support us. And I look at other clubs and how they're struggling, and I'm like thinking, wow, we actually been blessed because there's a lot of clubs that opened up the same time that we did and are struggling with their staff, struggling with management, struggling with a lot of internal things. And
when your girls are making six figures, they ain't going nowhere. And they work 3 days. So I promised them that I would take care of them. I promised them I would bring in those people, and we've been
blessed. On bottom line, we've been blessed.
We have. And what people don't realize, and I'll say this and we'll end on this, is, people think I'm not a perfect Christian or anything like that, but I do firmly believe, and I believe in influencing other people to believe.
Yeah.
So, one day we came in here when things were opening, and I don't play with the spirits, and he knows I don't.
Yeah.
So I was like walking around with my anointing oil on the doors, praying, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Come here, let me put a cross on your head." I'm like, "No, we're not doing this," and he even said a couple weeks ago, and I won't forget, he said, "I don't know what's watching over us, but something's watching over us."
Yeah.
And I know what's watching over us. But that's going to conclude our talk on partnership, entrepreneurship. He definitely will be back because we have so much in store for the city of Tampa.
Yes.
We love each and every one of you guys. We thank you for everything that you guys do for us, and seeing those familiar faces every weekend and the new faces too. We welcome you all. So we'll go ahead and sign on out.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing. Whatever you're passionate about, you're going to just go with it. You're going to get knocked down a million times before you hit that home run.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, we were knocked down so many times. I mean, every time there was a hurdle. We get over one just for another one. It was so discouraging
like another two.
That it was just like everyone was just like saying that you just give up. Just give up and just go somewhere else. No, don't ever give up. If you're passionate about it, move forward with it. It's going to come to light. Yeah. I promise you.
Don't give up.
Don't ever give up.
What I learned is if your vision can move without God, it's not big enough. We never envisioned 5,000 square feet.
No, heck no.
That was already in our plan for us because God knew what we could handle. And now here we are, 5,000 square feet. Like, we need a bigger place, But no, we'll be back to talk about partnership. We welcome any questions, any DMs or anything like that. I'm KP on the mic on Instagram.
bprieto_lit.
Yeah, so we welcome anything. We're doing a brunch. We do power brunches, networking events. We welcome each and every one of you. Thank you, Jack Daniels, for being our sponsor. And this is KP, and we out.